Thanks for tuning in for your Daily Dose. American slang calls it a Monday morning quarterback, a person who criticizes the decisions of someone else using the benefit of hindsight. Today, it's more of a Wednesday afternoon diplomat situation. Everyone has an opinion on how the Singapore summit was handled. Was Trump outfoxed by the madman from Pyongyang? Did he give away too much with little guarantees in return? Or did he demonstrate the power of diplomacy? Our Owen Alterman reports from Singapore.
The day after the summit here in Singapore, a question hangs in the air. How will the major countries in this part of the world respond to all that's happened? The most important of those countries is, of course, North Korea itself. Donald Trump has said that Kim Jong-un is a changed man, that he has had a change of attitude, a change of heart, and that he wants to take his country in an entirely different direction. Everyone will be watching to see if the president's theories are borne out in actions. That may be the key to whether this diplomacy succeeds. There's South Korea right across that border. On the one hand, the South Korean government, joined by a significant segment of South Korean public opinion, wants reconciliation with North Korea and wants to support U.S. diplomacy with North Korea. On the other hand, a lot of people in South Korea are made comfortable by the fact that there are 28,000 U.S. troops in South Korean soil and that year in, year out, the U.S. military has participated with the South Korean armed forces in what Donald Trump called war games, those war games that Donald Trump now says he wants to suspend. Are they willing to make that sacrifice to their own potential security to see the U.S. and North Korea come closer together? Not an easy question for them to answer, and a question that I suspect will spark an intense domestic dispute. Then there's Japan. Japan's interests simply aren't taken into account by the declaration from yesterday's summit. Not the question of Japanese abductees taken by North Korea in the 1970s and 1980s, an issue so important to Japanese public opinion, nor is the issue of medium-range missiles that can't hit the mainland United States and aren't a threat to it, but are a threat to Japan. What will Japan do beyond its superficial praise of the summit in order to try to advance its interests and make sure those are taken into account by whatever it is that the Trump administration does? And then there's China. China's interests in the North Korea issue are a bit more complex. On the one hand, China doesn't want to see an escalation in tensions between North Korea and the United States and the rest of the world. On the other hand, China wouldn't be so happy to see North Korea actually come closer to the U.S. It's hard to really see why the Chinese have a strong effort in doing so. At this point, they want to prevent North Korea from going into the United States' arms and try to have good relations with Pyongyang. And on the other hand, there's already been a de-escalation between North Korea and the United States. So why should China have any interest in enforcing those sanctions more harshly? China will be watching this closely, managing this in its relations with North Korea, and in the huge variety of issues that face it with the United States. A whole lot of things to watch for from this part of the world. We've done it from Singapore the last few days here on the ground, and now we'll be doing it from afar. For now, Owen Alterman, I-24 News, Singapore.